Good morning and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host, and here we are to fight CPS with me. CPS with Bob Pace. Now, for all you are new or been in here before, when I use the term CPS, I mean the Child Protection System. In California, it's called the CPS Child Protection Services, but in other states, it's other names. Like Arizona is DCS. So when I say CPS, I mean it's the system that deals with the protection of our children, those under the age of 18, from abuse and neglect, and also supposed to do family reunification because they've found that the best parents for children are the biological parents. Studies have shown that the best parents are the biological parents, the ones that created the child. And all of you on here is because you love your children. You wouldn't be wasting your time if you didn't love your children. You wouldn't be here. So I thank for all my listeners and all things there. And I'll try to do my best to help you fight CPS because CPS has become an agency that is very corrupt and not fair to families. And they've gone overboard trying to protect them and think every child is extreme danger when they're not. And their SOP is Susie here, an allegation, which are made by lay people, professional. They're supposed to investigate within 24 hours, and they believe the charges are true. So you're guilty before you're proven innocent. It isn't like the other court of law where you're innocent till you're proven guilty. So these allegations are followed up and usually results in a home visit. You don't know about not surrendering your child, and you give your child away when they say immediately your child's in danger, which they may not be. Now, there's several ways you can, work with the podcast. You can just be a listener. That's fine too. You don't have to write anything or text me anything or call in. But another way is that you could text a message in. And I like to see something related to CPS with your message. It could be about your case or about other cases or about questions in CPS. And that's good. All I ask is that you have your name and the city and state you're from. If you don't want to give it out, that's okay. But I try to get the idea of why I ask that information is give me an idea of what areas are good with CPS and what areas are bad. But so far, after about 500 of talking to people, it seems like everywhere in the U.S., CPS is corrupt. And I've only had one CPS worker talk to me. I've had other ones listen. But she was from Maryland, and she, was really straightforward and so forth. And she sounded like she was a good social worker. I would hope that there's other good social workers within the system. But anyway, you can text a message, and I'm open to people from outside the U.S. I've had countries of Australia, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ghana, Mexico, and Mozambique, and Denmark. They've all called and text me a message, and some of them say that CPS is just like ours in the United States, especially England. United Kingdom was really the person that called to me was from Leeds, and they were saying the same thing that they're going through. So it is an agency that's entrusted with, mandated by federal government, entrusted with the money from us, we the taxpayers, give the government to spend money on us. It's amazing that we're able to do as much as we can with our taxes. But it's a $38 billion business. And so it's their intent is to make money. Their intent is to make money. So you can text me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Also, you can call in to my cell phone. There's my business number, 626-698-0990. And that gets my direct line into the office of Vincent W. Davis Associates, who is producing this podcast. And many thanks go out to Mr. Davis. He's a family law attorney, and we'll talk more about him. But he says to call him at 888-888-6582 if you have any questions. And so I'm very thankful for Mr. Davis to provide this podcast. Yeah, my phone says the sound is on. It's not call forwarding. Someone the other day said that something was call forwarding. I don't think I had that on there. Let me see here. No. Nope. Do not disturb. Nope. Location. Nope. So my phone's ready to go. And call in. And you can be a guest of my show and talk about CPS, talk about your case or anything else in general you want. Okay, so the phone's all set to go. Now, if you want to be a guest on my show, well, shoot, we have someone already calling in. Good. Bob Pace.
Yo, and I'm calling, dealing with this CPS stuff, and I've been going across. I've been dealing with this issue. I've been trying to find people who could help me out, and I came across your program, so I'm calling to hopefully get some type of answer to help me out with my situation.
Okay. What is your name again?
My name is Gil.
Gil?
Gil.
Gill?
No, just one L.
Gil. Gil. Okay. Glad to meet you, Gil. What city and state are you calling from?
I'm calling from Texas.
Okay. What part of Texas? The southern Texas? San Antonio?
No, I'm in the middle. I'm in by Austin.
Okay.
The military area.
All right. Austin, Texas. Okay. Glad to have you. We have a guy on the show right now that just texted in, Frederick Connie, who's been on the show before. He's from Massachusetts. And he asked a question, why does DCF treat cases different when you have private attorneys than a court-appointed? Well, that's the number one sadness about court-appointed attorneys. The court-appointed attorneys are given to you at no cost. They're not the cream of the crop. They're not really well-versed in family law. They usually have connections with the judge and the social workers attorneys, and they usually they have 30 or more cases. They don't have time, and you really don't go anywhere with public defenders. Reason why you have to get a professional attorney, because it takes a professional attorney to work or navigate in the CPS system. It's like a heart surgery. If you're going to get open heart surgery, you're not going to get a layman to do your open you up. You're not going to do it yourself. You're going to get a professional. And CPS is just like Alice in Wonderland. You fall in the rabbit hole and you go through all these doors that never open or never go anywhere. You're lost. So that's why it's best to have a professional family law attorney defend you. And so you answer there to Frederick County. Now, Gil, tell me about your case. When did it start? Start at the beginning.
It started last month. I started last month around about the 24th, 23rd.
Of what month? Of what month?
Of April. Last month, April.
Okay, April.
March, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
today's May 2nd. So April 23rd. So this is a fresh case. What were the allegations?
Yeah. But
what were the allegations?
What?
What were the allegations?
I'm an unfit parent. I'm a drug dealer. I'm a drug user, drug dealer. I keep my wife in the house. I keep my son in the house. I neglect him. I don't let him go outside. I'm abusing him.
Okay.
And he's a danger to live with. I'm a danger to him.
Right. Now, how did they approach you? How did they approach you?
They not approached me. They approached my wife because I was out with my grandmother taking care of her.
Okay. So they approached your wife. Now, where did they approach your wife, and was she at home?
Yeah, she was at home.
And so she allowed them in your home then?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't fit to.
Yeah, that's the number one thing you don't want to do is allow them in your home.
I know this part, and I told her to don't let nobody in. I mean, they got a nice thing against me, and they manipulated her mind because a long time ago she was talking about she went to my phone and she's female messing with me, asking me that and the other. So now she says I was selling them drugs, but she's like how they these CPS talking about like it's now happening. This is stuff where we talking about like 2 years ago. She went to my phone and was seeing people asking me for this, that, and the other, and saying I'm a drug dealer, and the CPS person making it seem like I'm selling drugs now, and I was never selling drugs. Period. It's just people was asking me about like I smoke cannabis, and I don't smoke all the time about smoking it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She thought I was my wife. She don't know nothing about no cannabis. She start calling it crack. You know what I'm saying? She think all drugs is crack. So
okay. So what'd she tell the social worker? What'd she tell the social worker?
She said, I was sold drugs. And I do drugs. I'm a drug user and drug
Now, why did the social worker did the social worker right away take your children?
Yes, they took yeah.
Now, what ground was the extreme danger? What ground? Because you were living in the home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was in the home.
Did she talk to your wife about maybe having you move out of the home while you deal with that part and that she could take care of the child? Did they ever offer that?
I don't know. She's my wife. She don't know too much stuff. I don't know. I don't know. The point is,
yeah, they're supposed to have when they take a child from a home, they're supposed to have a safety meeting, and that's where both parents meet and they discuss the plan for your child to be housed in.
Yeah. So what I plan on doing is having, say, I'll go to drug cases and stuff like that, and get her a place without me on the release. You know what I'm saying? So she can take care of the child. Right.
But and again, I guess you don't have money for an attorney then, right?
Exactly. And that's what happened.
So you have a public defender, and a public defender, I'm sad to say, will not.
They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing.
I know they are. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
JP 90. He's like, well, you have to get another attorney, another lawyer. I said, no, I don't want to let you use your services, but this is what I'm going to do also. Because I need this stuff. Say, well, I don't get paid for all that stuff, so you don't have to get that to do that yourself.
I know they really are the worst. I hate to say it. It's in our Constitution that if we can't afford an attorney, a court-appointed attorney be appointed for us. But 99% of the court-appointed attorneys don't. They're young. They don't know the law.
Yeah.
They have a heavy caseload, and they don't want to do all the work because they know it's going to involve a lot of their time, and they're not being compensated for that.
Right.
And in CPS cases, they're corrupt because they're friends of the social workers, attorneys, friends of the judge, and they'll just do something
Right.
that will just screw you on. You won't get a fair shake unless you get a real attorney.
Well, that's not gonna happen because I ain't got no money for no little attorney. Only thing I can say, I can just go file
Well, you can.
file these things, appeal.
One guy had gone through 37 public defenders till he got one. So I'm not saying that you have to go through 37 public defenders, but if you don't like this public defender's attitude, if it's a he or she, then you can say, I want another public defender. You go to the public defender's office and request a new public defender.
Okay. Yeah, well,
And then you see how that one works. You see how that one works because they only show up the day of the hearing. They don't meet with you privately or go over things. It's terrible how they are.
Yeah, I asked him stuff like that. He said the only time he got time for me is like you just said. My question is the actions I could take. Like I was mentioning before. The only thing I think I found out was a 388, but I got to read through it thoroughly to know how to properly to request to change the stuff because they're trying to take my child away. You know. And I don't
well, have you had your first court hearing, your dependency hearing? Have you had that?
No, they had a quick one, like no, I haven't even had no hearing, but they did some type of thing to put my son in their jurisdiction. I forgot how they worded it, but like they had a special court, a quick. Let me look at this paper they gave.
Sure.
And I didn't get the paper until like 6 days later. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give it to me 3 days later. They give it to me very, very late. And so like I already missed the opportunity to even go to this hearing for the child after removal. It says a child removal request order form conversorship is effective the parent-child relationship at 10 a.m. So the thing is, that's what it's called. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know the word you use, but it's what I have.
So, okay, but you did not go to a dependency initial hearing yet.
Having no hearing whatsoever. Haven't even said anything with the people.
Okay, because what they've done is that the first step is they've taken the child into protective custody. Then they file. Then they file a dependency petition is filed by them under the Welfare and Institution Code 300 and 325. So you need to look at that in California. 300 and 325.
Okay, 300 325. Okay.
Yeah, you need that. It's called the Welfare and Institution Code of California, and it's section 300 and 325. That is when they file what's called a dependency petition, and that means that the child is going to be put in protective custody. Then they're going to have what's called a jurisdictional hearing within 30 days of the petition for child not removed. 15 days. I'm sorry, 15 days if removed. And you have to look at the code, the Health and Welfare Code 334. 334. So when the child is removed, they have to have that judicial hearing within 15 days. So have they said you when have they done the judicial hearing yet?
No, that's gonna be on the 8th of this month.
Okay, that's the next step. You know, there's like 3 or 4 steps after that before there. Do they have a safety planning meeting with you and your wife?
They said they're gonna have that after we have the court first hearing.
Well, they usually have it within that week that your child's removed. When was your child removed?
I mentioned to you before, the 24th.
Okay, I thought that's when they contact you. I did not know the same day they did the 24th. Okay, so within that week of the 24th, they should have had a safety. You can ask that we need to know, and what that purpose is where you can place your child with a family member, not in foster care.
I have no family out here.
Okay, all right.
I have no family out here.
I don't know that. I did not know that to ask that question. Okay, so you have no family. Do you have any relatives or anything? They don't have to be out here, by the way. You could ship a child to your family or relatives back east if you have that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they don't. They will not tell you stuff. They don't tell you. but you can have a family member, let's say in Georgia, and what they do is they'll do an ICPC, which is an interstate agency that transfers the child from California to Georgia.
Okay.
And they can put it with the family member while you're going through your involvement with CPS. They don't like to tell you about that because that involves costs for them, and they don't like to spend the pure profit they get. They get $20,000 per child every month your child's with them. So anytime the case is open, they're getting $20,000. So they don't want to spend that money on that. They want to spend the money on their Gucci purses and their clothing and their car, BMW car, and their eye makeup and eyelashes. I already heard this from a social worker. So you're dealing with people that are very corrupt.
Yes, they are.
So what you're going to do is that you're going to request them. You're going to make a list of people. If they're all out of state, that's not the problem. That's their problem. But you can't have them stay with a family member. They have to check out that family member before they'll ship the child on there. But it can be done. It can be done.
No problem. I can make some calls.
Yeah, right. So what you need to do is line that up. But you got to be insistent on that. See, they know you don't have an attorney. And so you got to, when you talk to, now if the social worker is rude or arrogant or refuses to talk to you, then you say very politely, who's your supervisor? And you speak to the supervisor and you request a new social worker.
Okay, yeah, because the social worker, they saying I'm the mean person. And I'm just trying to ask a question.
They are, it's very wrong for them to make all those accusations. Those are hearsay. Those are allegations. They're not the truth. I don't know who you are, and I'm going to treat you just as equal as is that you're not a drug person. You're not this or not that. I don't accept that from people. I listen to them. If you're calling in, that's a big bonus because you care about your child. If you're taking the time, if you're a drug person, you're not going to do that. I dealt with a girl from Armenia who had a trafficking guy. He's an Iraqi, and he had seduced her and got her into this trafficking business and somehow married her. And she had a child with him, and now her child's 18 and he's kidnapped her child and doing stuff in New Jersey. And I had to get Amnesty International involved. I had to get Safe Passage in California. This poor girl, they killed her grandfather, she says, and her parents died in an earthquake in Armenia. And so anyway, I get different cases all the time. I'm going to treat everybody fairly and honesty. I'm compassionate. I care about you as a person. I know what you're going through. It was very frustrating. I had no one help me for a year and a half until I had to hire an attorney. I had to sell my house and hire attorneys, how I got my kids back. But I have learned how the system works. And there's a flow chart on the internet. You can Google it, a juvenile dependency flow chart. You should Google that. Juvenile dependency flow chart.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Are you going to delete this? Broadcast? Because
not really. I think they have recordings all the time. I think that this one will be. I don't think it will be deleted.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, if you have a juvenile dependency flow chart, it'll show all the steps, and it shows there. It doesn't show the safety meeting on the flow chart, but when your child is taken into custody, they're supposed to, within the first week, have a safety meeting in where you can put your child. There's another thing too for all your listeners out there, is called ICWA. It's the Indian Child Welfare Act. And that's where the CPS worker, when they meet with the parents, must ask you, are you a native Indian? Or have a native Indian blood in you? And if you are, they have to check to see if you're registered or could be registered at one of the federal recognized tribes. And if that is the case, they're required by law to turn the Indian children over to the Indian tribe, and then the Indian tribe places them with an Indian family until they are reunified with the mother and father. They're supposed to reunification. Mother and father are the best parents. It's been proven they are. Now, I understand that you may have communication issues with your wife, and things may not be going great and stuff, but you can get help there. There's help that the CPS is supposed to give help. That's another thing. They try not to give you help, but they can give counseling help and those kinds of things. based on your income. So they're supposed to give you help. But anyway, you're getting ready for what's called the detention initial hearing. And but you still need to decide where your child's going to be, because right now they've taken them into protective custody. They should have that night said that um, when you meet with us, we're going to have to talk about you temporarily being out of the home. Okay, so that if you're the problem that they think you are, then that would be a temporary thing. But they're supposed to do family reunification. That's what the whole detention hearing's about. They're going to be um, it's where they figure out the custody of the child, and then the plan. There's a plan that they have to come up with, and after that hearing,
Yeah,
there's a
the
judicial.
plan I already came up with is this: I'm gonna get my wife to her own place.
Right.
And I'm gonna
Right.
go and have her own place, or before I even go to the meeting. You know what I'm saying? Set up some type of
Well, if you
something
can make it
like
happen before the
something.
meeting, if you make it happen for the meeting, you can bring it up to the judge and say, Your Honor, I have some information that I moved away from my wife's and our home into another home, and that the mother is perfectly fit to take care of the child. Because have there been any allegations against the mother of the child?
She's like a straight A student, so to speak. She doesn't
Okay.
know anything. Like,
Right. So that's what you can emphasize. And if your court-appointed attorney doesn't do that, get another one. But you can also say, I do not want this court-appointed attorney. I'm speaking on my behalf. And you be pleasant to the honor. You say, Your Honor, I have several statements to make. And then you can list your statements. He's required by law to do so. If he doesn't, then you got a crooked judge. And there are a lot of crooked judges. I have to prepare you. You're not going to like what you're going to experience. If you think it's bad now, wait till it gets further on, because for a year and a half, I tried to fight them with emails. I went to the top dog in my case, and it was terrible. It was terrible when I went to the top dog. They did nothing for me. They did nothing for me. It's all about money. I mean, it is really, really sad state of affairs there. But anyway, look at those welfare institution codes. Get the list of family members going with the names, the addresses, and the phone numbers, and then work on your plan. Get that going. If you don't like this attorney, try another attorney. The social worker's not working, you try another social worker. You can also ask for a new judge too. There's a ways you can do it. You can complain to the judicial branch at the state level and have that judge replaced. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. It just takes time. It takes time, money, and a good attorney. If you had an attorney, they would help you. I'm not an attorney. I'm only speaking from experience.
yes.
But I do care about you. I mean, I do care about you, and I hate to hear what you're going through. I really do.
It happens. It's about, like, honestly, I was into other things, like, you know, having our rights, and this type of stuff happened. It's similar, but I didn't think they'll come after my child like this. So,
well, they don't. They ignore your constitutional rights. Yeah, they'll ignore your constitution. Right. They'll ignore your constitutional rights and your civil rights. They'll ignore that. CPS doesn't care about them, and it's against the law. And you cannot sue CPS until the case is over. And then you go after them how they violated your rights and stuff. But right now, your whole purpose is to get your child in a safe area. And you got two courses. One, you move out, you have your own place. She has her own place, the child moves in with her. Or two, you put the child in a family member, and if the family member's out of state, they should be able to move them there.
Right.
It's not required they have to be in the state. It's not required. Just that your visitation rights are going to be hard. You may have to do a video visitation where you do Zoom and you talk to your child on Zoom. So, how old is the child?
You say it's 300? 5. He's 5.
Okay, he's 5.
Court, I think it's 300 something. What was it again?
Okay, the welfare institution code are 300 and 325.
Thank you. Welfare code. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, because, you know, I was just something I could add to my arsenal that I don't have. Because I have no arsenal. I'm shooting blanks right now.
Right. And then the code that deals with the jurisdictional hearing is 334. There are California codes. You just put in California Welfare Institution codes and you read them, and it really helps you. But that flow chart is really a good thing for people to have out there.
You say what's going to have?
That flow chart, so you can see the flow chart, how everything flows. Step 1, step 2, step 3. A timeline.
Okay.
Something that can help you navigate through CPS, because CPS is not going to help you.
They're not. Timeline. Okay, cool. Great. I really appreciate your help, Mister. This is really, really something I really need to have. Something. I just need to have something. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I'm going to try to help you from my experience. I'm going to help you.
Even you said stay strong. That would help.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I treat everybody with respect. If I treat them with respect, they're going to respect me. I'm 74 years old. I've been around a little bit. I'm a dinosaur. So I've experienced a lot. I have a lot in life. But we're not born with a manual of how to do a CPS. I suggested that when you're in high school, you take a class called in marriage and how they have babies and parenting and I swear you should take a class every year in high school regarding that. Maybe your first year in high school you take sex education. Your second year,
they don't have that no more. They don't have that stuff no more.
I know that, but it should.
Junior class, they have the parenting, the cooking classes, so they don't have it in high school no more.
I know. They should have your life skill class, a life skill, how to deal out there, how to open up a checkbook, how to do a bank account, how to do loans, things about life skills, because we're not born with that, and it's through trial and error. And a lot of people, are faced the fact that, God dang it, I'm married now, I have a kid, but I don't know how to deal with CPS. Who in the hell is CPS? They're not they're worse than the IRS. I mean, if you speak of all the agencies that get involved with, CPS is the worst. CPS is the worst. I'd rather be fighting a criminal case, fighting to defend myself than a CPS case. That's how bad. Criminal cases, at least they have a jury, and if you tell the truth and you work your way, and their court-appointed attorneys are better, but at least you are not guilty until you're proven guilty. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. But in CPS, you got to tell yourself they think you're guilty until you're proven innocent. So that's why they have the negative attitudes. They should not be. They should treat all people with respect. They're a government agency. They work for the government. There's problem is they're not supervised. There's supposedly a director and managers.
The public services going out the league, going out the range to dictate, to pollute. I'm not going to say it, but evil. That's what it is. Evil.
Well, money's got them. Money has got a hold of them. They found out how nice it is when the government. See, the government is, I think, stupid when they talk about balancing their budget. They're always hurting for money because they give money out too freely. There's no accountability of the money they give out. I mean, they charge, the government will send in a bill, the U.S. government will send a bill for a toilet seat and charge $1,000 for that toilet seat. And you and I know that Home Depot or Lowe's, it wouldn't be $1,000 for a toilet seat unless it had LED lights and it did other things there. But anyway, the government is very stupid about their money, and they wouldn't have to balance the budget if they, I mean, I know some weird stories where the government gives out millions of dollars to a fictitious group that is trying to solve a new way of making fuel. And just because they're a cult group in religion, they give them millions of dollars every year and they not produce one drop. And this has been going on for 5 years.
Money when our country needs money. Come on, let's not.
Well, I mean, they do the overseas part. That's hard to understand, but the overseas is so they don't have to fight them in our neck of the woods. I mean, that's the reason why they wouldn't do. But anyway, you're right. They give away money so bad. But if you would not believe, $38 million is given to CPS. $38 million.
Yeah, that's even worse. That's even worse.
So they don't need $38 billion to take care of the kids. They've become greedy and they want to have kids right away. What else can I help you out with here, Gil? What else can I help you out with?
Well, sir, I mean, I don't really know what else to ask you, but I mean, like you
Okay,
just told me
well,
that
just be rest
the flow chart,
assured,
the
I'm on.
timeline, and
I'm on. 7 days a week, twice a day. So I'm always available to talk to. Not hard at all. Frederick Connick just said, yes, most of the children that are adopted out parents have no court attorney. You're right. You're right. You are so right, Connie, because you need to have a professional attorney to fight to get your kids. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's how it has to be. It has to be.
that's the way it is. That's how they win the cases. It has a 98% in the win streak because we don't have what's needed at times.
Right, Gil. Now, are there any classes they're asking you to do, or anything they're asking you to do? CPS is asking you to do?
No, they're not asking me anything. But what I'm willing to do, I even try to find find those little programs that you can sit in and learn, not learn, but those rehab classes.
Parenting classes. Parenting.
Like you did for 30 days, like you.
Right, I know they're parenting classes. Right, you're making the effort. That's good, but don't let them snuff you. You have a right as a father. You're the biological father of that child. Don't let them tell you you don't have a right. You have a right as a parent. Maybe during this allegation period, they will have to investigate, but you have a right to family reunification. You have a right to tell where your child will stay at. You have a right to have them consider that. They have to make some efforts because then you can build yourself a case. And if it doesn't stop there, if you're there in Austin dealing with them, you could go to the director of your CPS agency, whatever it is. So you go to the top dog and be nice and respectful and set up a meeting. You can meet with him. I met with the top dog, but when I saw him meet with me, he had so much gold around his neck, he was going to fall over on his face. That was so sad. I mean, I don't know what this thing about gold, but this guy, was definitely more than a superstar. He just thought gold was everything, and I can see why. So it's crazy. The building that he was housed in looked better than the Taj Mahal in India. In fact, it looked like the Emerald City in the Wizard of Oz. So you're dealing with, you're Alice in Wonderland right now, and you don't know where to go and what door to open or anything. You're definitely like Alice in Wonderland that fall in a hole, and you don't want to. You want to get out of that hole. You want to get out of that hole.
Yeah, I hope for the best for him.
Yeah, I do. Now,
what's happening and everything,
Now, do you have other children, or is this it?
No, I have one child.
Okay, so you care about your child, and it shows. And I appreciate you calling in and opening up your heart about your show, and about to the show audience about your case, because it is hard to talk about your case because a lot of times people feel embarrassed. I think it's a stigma, but I'm trying to make things change. I'm talking to congressmen and congresswomen about changing the CPS. There's lots of ideas. I want to have CPS be a better agency. I think education helps a little bit too. And I think that people should be aware if they're going to get married, they should take a marriage class. I know they don't do that. They only ask is your blood test and your marriage license, but they should also say you should take a class in marriage. Something they would talk about for a couple hours about the do's and don'ts of marriage, about what you can get yourself into and stuff like that. I mean, when I hear that sex education no longer available in high school, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Okay, yeah, I just came up with a question right now because I'm going over this information again. It says it says you have been sued, and you may apply attorney if your attorney do not file a written answer with the clerk who issued this citation by 10 a.m. on the first month following the expiration of 20 days after your served. We just got the papers on the.
What did you get served? Was it by the CPS or was it by the criminal system?
A deputy gave this to us.
Well, he just served you. What does it say you're charged? What does it say at the top?
Defendant hereby after a style and number cost. You may hereby command a appeal by filing written answers to the original petition for protection of a child after removal request, order form, conservatorship, and suit effective the parent-child relationship as are above.
Yeah, you definitely want to appeal that, because that's done by the that's not a criminal, that's the CPS thing they've done. The CPS
How
is.
How do you appeal these things? I don't even know how to do that. How do you?
Well, that's when an attorney comes in. That's when an attorney comes in, and that's one thing that maybe you could ask. Right now, I have an attorney here, Mr. Davis, and he'll talk to you for 30 minutes for $60, and he will. You can tell him what that is, and he'll tell you how to make that suit. That may be the first question you ask him, or you need to talk to an attorney. Some attorneys out there are pro bono. They'll take your case for free. It's hard to find them, but they're out there. They'll dependency on hearing your case. But you definitely have to. Also, you have to look at the statutes. You have to type in Google how to appeal that section code. It'll tell you how to appeal it.
Okay.
I mean, you can be your own attorney. It's a lot of hard work because you're not going to know everything. You got to do a lot of reading, a lot of Googling. But you need to look at that statute that they're citing you with, and then how to do appeal of that.
All right, thank you.
But watch your time limit on that. Look where your dates are. Put them in your calendar.
It says I have to the next Monday or 20 days.
Okay, so you got to get on it quick because Monday's only 3 days away, right?
Yes.
Okay, so today and tomorrow are business days. So as soon as you hang up with me, I'd start calling around attorneys and try to find a pro bono attorney. You want to specify you're looking for family law attorneys.
Okay.
And then mention, if you do happen to talk to an attorney, mention what you've been sued on and how that can be appealed. And if you find the information how to do the appeal, you can turn in an appeal. You got to make sure it's on a proper form. There's a paperwork, the line paper that has numbers on it. That's got to be done, and it's got to be served to all parties and stuff. So it's got to have a blue backing. There's ways you can do it. I know from experience, but you can get it in whether you don't have enough information or anything like that. You can amend that later, but you can get that in so that the clock stops ticking. And to me, if you have $60, I know it's a lot of money, but it's well worth talking to my.
I get $60. I got $40 right now. I can find $20 more. Yeah,
well, I'm just trying to say is that Vincent Davis will talk to you at 888-888-6582. You just say you want to schedule a 30-minute consultation.
Can you tell me that number again, please?
Yeah, it's 888-888-6582, and it's Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis?
Yeah. Vincent Davis. Vincent W. Davis.
Thank you.
He's a family law attorney. He knows this well.
Douglas Davis?
Vincent W. Davis.
Okay, Vincent W. Davis.
888-888-6582. That's the office number, and then you want to schedule a consultation. You got to do it quick because it's not that far away. Now, on the bottom of my screen, you can also do a consultation with his calendar. Do you see it scrolling on my screen?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I see something on your screen. Say it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Copy that down. That's his calendar, and you can schedule your time on there straight to it.
Okay, I see. Yeah, Vincent Davis. Bob.
Care of Bob Pace calendar.com/law offices of VWD/Bob Pace. And I'll get to his consultation calendar. That's the quick way. Yeah, that's the quick way. Yeah, screenshot will work.
in.
Yeah, hopefully that will help you.
Yeah, hopefully I believe it will, because like I said, I'm swimming without. I'm a tadpole right now.
Right. It's not calendar, by the way. I misspoke myself. It's calendly. It's CALENDLY. Calendly. It's not the DAR. It's CDLY. CALENDLY. Okay.
I screenshot
The
it.
screenshot will show it correctly. I was saying it differently. I was saying calendar. It's not calendar. It's calendy. Or I probably pronounced it not bad there, but my producer is looking after me, by the way. I have a producer that watches me on the show, and so she helps me. I have many thanks to her. Her name is Grace. And if you ever want to be,
thank you, Grace.
Yeah, if you ever want to be on the show, you can contact her at Grace at vincentwdavis.com, and she'll put you on the show as a guest. So you can be live with your face and everything. But anyway, that will help you, but you need that right away, because you don't want to be caught with missing that date.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought that to your attention. Anything you receive from them, make sure you look at it and understand it. And if you have a question, call on my show and you can ask.
Cool.
I'm on twice a day. So it shouldn't be hard to talk to me. I tell everybody I'm on twice a day, so that's 7 days a week.
What's
so
your hours?
I'm so
days? I mean, I know today, like this time, noon o'clock, but what's the other time?
Oh, 7 p.m.
Okay, cool.
So it's 10 in the morning and 7 p.m. and that's Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, cool.
And if there's a change in the date or the time, I will tell you that. On Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock. It's the only day of the week I come out differently. I'm at 8 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time on Sunday.
Roger that. Okay, Mr. Bob. Thank you for everything.
Okay, well, I appreciate you talking candidly about me. I know that you do the right thing if you keep persisting at it and you work through it. It's a hard stumbling block, but if you care about your child, so you're on this show. So that's a good thing you did. A lot of people, if they were drug dealers or where they're saying you are, they wouldn't give the time of day. They wouldn't care.
That's right.
I mean, you recognize that you're a father of a child and you want to help that child. You want to be with that child. That's the biggest thing. A lot of deadbeat dads, as soon as they get a girl pregnant, they leave them, and they have to fend themselves, which is a shame. And so it's like that. So.
So once again, thanks for your time.
Yep, you bet. And if you think of anything else, call me again tonight at 10 p.m. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll see you, Gil.
Okay.
Be safe and God bless. Yep. Bye. Okay, we just had a very interesting caller from Texas who has been wrongly accused. He says he's been alleged that he's a deadbeat dad, a drug dealer, and everything. But why is he calling for help? Because he cares about his child. So I believe in him, and there's a solution. He can either have a new place of residence temporarily and have his wife have the place and the child can move back in with his wife, or he can stay with a family member. And what is very important out there is that make sure you get a chance to submit your list of family members, and they don't have to be in the state you're living in. They don't have to be nearby. They don't want to do that because the added expense of shipping a child. But I can guarantee they have enough money. They're not hurting. Believe me. I had not heard one social worker in CPS hurting. And I keep having this vision of 8 social workers in pink shirts say they're professional kidnappers, and on the back were your children. I know they've been fired, but that's the attitude of most of the social workers is that all these people that are low income, homeless or maybe lost a job or made a mistake or thing should be treated fairly and equally. Not every parent is a bad parent. So I appreciate you guys, texting in and so forth. If anybody wants to call, I'm open to another caller at 626-698-0990. I like to talk about rule number 1, which is so important. It's probably the most important thing you ever do in your CPS case is you get an attorney, and you need an attorney. They're the only people that can really navigate and get your kids back. And I'm talking about an attorney that has a background in family law, trained and educated in a background in family law, a professional attorney you need. Now, a lot of you out there say, well, how do I find an attorney? Well, first step you need to do is identify the city that the case is in. It's usually your hometown. And then you got to identify the next largest city. So if you're in a town called Home, and the next largest city is called Far Away, then you list Far Away and Home. So you say, looking for a family law attorney in Home and Far Away. Now, I'm just using those fictitious names, but you put your names there. Then what's going to happen is a bunch of names are going to come up, and you're going to have to go through that list. And if I identified 10 good ones that you can call. And why I say so many calling is because by your phone call, you got to weed the list down to 5. So what you do with that 10 list of people, you call them and you first ask them, do you do pro bono work? And if they'll tell you the answer, and pro bono means they don't charge. Then do you have attorneys that have fought with CPS or can fight with CPS? If you start to get yos, that's one of the people you're going to call back and have a consultation with them. But you want to get that list down to at least 5 good people that you had good contacts with. If right away they talk about money, drop them. It's not a waste of time, because if they're not have the guts to talk about the case or talk with you, they don't care about you, whether you pay them $1 million or not. It's all about money. You need to separate from those people, because there's a lot of attorneys, it's all about money. It's a horrible thing that you're in, because it's about people. It's about families. Family is my most important thing in my life. I do anything for my family. I defend my family. I protect my family. I love my family. I am a father, and I'm a loving man, and I've been married 32 years, and I have 6 children. And I've also worked at numerous jobs. I'm well experienced. Unfortunately, I think I've had the black cloud over my head like the Peanuts character had. It seems no matter how hard I try, the black cloud still follows me. I struggle right now to get my little bit of money I make a week to be paid to me in a timely fashion. I struggle with people that promise things that renege and so forth. I've been forced to lose my job through no fault of my own when I was 65 years old. And that was a sad and tragic thing too. That was really sad and tragic. And then recently I'd been working and got a job, but then I was laid off for no more work. No more work. And that's the sad thing. They're telling me at 74 that you can't work for us because you're too old. That's the image you're trying to say, but I don't think I'm too old. I don't think I am. I think I can still give someone a good 30 years of my life and work for them and take care of my family. But I care about all you out there. At least you're worried about your family. You want to take your family. But in getting this attorney, you got it narrowed down. You've talked to 10 people. You narrowed it down to 5. And on that 5 list, I put one of the candidates as Vincent W. Davis. He's one of your 5 people you need to talk to. He's one of the 5 people you need to talk to. And you do a consultation with the remainder of 5. Now, I've tried to change that a lot because I've been thinking about how to find an attorney now myself. And so if I had to do my thing all over again, I would have found 10 people by first looking. I would have talked to 10 people, narrowed it down to 5, And then I would, with those 5 people, talk to them thoroughly with consultation, and then narrow it down to one. And I think Vincent Davis is one of those 5. Even so, I think he should be at your top of your list. And the contact Vincent Davis, you do 888-888-6582. That's the office. Tell them that Bob Pace sent you, and that if you talk to Mr. Davis, tell him that Bob Pace sent you. That's really important. Here's that. Now at the bottom of my screen, there's a ticket running, and it says a consultation with attorney Vince Davis, care of Bob Pace, Calendly.com. Law office of Vincent W.D. /Bob Pace. That's really important. That's another way you can set up your consultation. Now, he'll do that for 30 minutes. He will talk and help you negotiate with the CPS and get your children. He knows how to navigate CPS, so he will help you on that. And he will do that for 30 minutes for $60. It's well worth the $60 you pay, because he will talk to you on that. And then after you talk to him, you may want to hire him if you have the chemistry, and he'll talk to you about the retainer. He works in Southern California, but he also works in Northern California and all the 50 states. There's additional fees when he works out of the Southern California area for his travel expenses and his accommodations. And so he'll add that on to his retainer fee. His retainer fee varies on the complexity of the case, how long the case has been going on, and that will determine the amount of retainer fee. So he's an excellent choice, and you should really consider him. I did. It took me a year and a half, but I did get him, and he did get 2 of my 3 children back. So he knows how to fight CPS. He's a trial attorney, and he's your man. So that's rule number 1. And I've heard nothing more from Frederick Connie, except I know he's been on the show. I enjoyed him from Massachusetts, and hopefully his case is going along well. Rule number 2, and that's a bookkeeping deal. And I've modified that too. You should get a notebook, a big notebook with at least 5 subject tabs, something like you're in school, like one for each class. But how you're going to do your sections is that you're going to have one section for incidents, one section for CPS information, one section for all the classes you take or the programs you take, and then maybe another section for all the things you find that are related to CPS, like the internet links, the web links, and those kinds of things. And you divide them up 5 ways, but it's all in one notebook. And the very important one to be tab 1, which is the incidents. And what you do is you write down the first line, the date and time of the incident, who was involved, the police, the social worker, the parents, the children, whatever it is. And then the next line, you want to put down what the incident was. They took away your children, they called you, whatever the case may be. And then the next thing you're going to put down after that is, how did the incident close out? Did it close out with satisfaction, not satisfaction, or is it not closed out? You may have to come back later and fill it out. Then you leave a couple lines space and make your next incident, and so forth. Repeat the same thing. That way you have all your incidents and you can refresh back to them. You can show your attorney if you get one, or maybe you want to fight CPS. I'll help you. I did not do this. I did not take any note, and you need to. You're not going to remember everything. You know, they say it's 48 days for the case to be closed, but my case was 3 years. I've heard some people 8 years. So you need some type of information saved. So their rule number 2 is keep track of good notes on your CPS case. Now, rule number 3 is one of the hardest ones I find people, and one of the ones that make the most mistake. It's that when you talk to a social worker, you should not tell them your life story. You should not tell them, because they will use anything you say against you. It should be constructed in yes, no answers. You just say yes or no, yes or no. And also, if it gets really heated or complicated or they're going to try to do something, then you tell them, I need to speak to my attorney first before I go any further. Could I have your business card? The reason why I ask for a business card is a lot of times they lie about their name. So it's very important that you get a business card with a phone number and you say you're going to talk to your attorney. And then if you have an attorney, you talk to him. If you don't, then get one and or can get a consultation going with Mr. Davis. At least he'll tell you what to do. Because you don't want to give them information they'll use against you. I like to talk, and so I gave way too much information. And on top of that, don't let them in your home. They're going to try to get in your home. They're going to bring police out to intimidate you. Don't let them intimidate you. Your home is your castle. You have a constitutional right to let no one in your home. The only time they can come in your home if a crime is being committed, meaning like a shooting's going on, a knifing, a child is being slammed against the wall, a child is being roughly hurt. Those things they can come in the home. And the other way is a warrant. They have to go to a court, ask the judge that they have suspected allegations. That's going to be written on the warrant. The name of the person that the allegation is for is going to be written on the warrant. The address of where the warrant will take place, and then the date and time they can do the inspection. All that's got to be on that court form. It's got to be signed by judge. And it's got to be a wet signature. This is a copy. They just made a copy of someone else's warrant. So be very careful when you're looking at that warrant. And if you're inside the house and they're trying to bang to get in, you can say, do you have a warrant? And ask them to show it to you in the window. And then you can have them plastered against the window and read it. But whatever you do not let them in the home. You do that, and then whatever's in the home is going to be used against you. And you may not be prepared for their inspection. They'll go through your drawers looking at your underwear. They do some weird stuff. So I'm telling you, do not let them search your home unless they have a search warrant. Do not let them abduct your child unless they have a warrant to take your child. Any specific thing they have to do in your home, they have to have a warrant that spells out how to do it. So you don't have to give them your child. That is a misnomer there. And so you can protect your child that way. So no to social workers, no to policemen, no to home invasion, no to stealing children, trafficking children. Those are all answered no. And that's very important to keep that in mind when you're dealing with them, because they are very corrupt. They're very misleading. They're not transparent. They don't have a board of supervisors or a board of directors that governs CPS. They have a director and their assistant managers and so forth. But that's all. There's no one as watchdog in how money's spent. I give example. In the state of Kentucky, at Richmond, there is a county CPS that was being audited, and they could not come up with the $389,000 that was missing. Very interesting. Where'd that money go? They couldn't say how it was spent. You see, any money that they get, they should be held accountable for. They should give a audit form maybe every 6 months to see how the money's being spent. They need to be, supervised. There's so many things that they do is wrong. And maybe I'm talking too much about making changes. Maybe someone has a question. Again, I remind everybody, call in 626-698-0990 or text me a question. I'll help you. Thank you for the 3 thumbs up. That was nice. That sounds like I'm doing something right. I'm trying to do something right. And that's from Abu Baku S. Ture and Michelle Riley and Jeannie Wells. Thank you for the thumbs up. And, as I say, that first name sounds a little bit from Africa. I don't know, but I've had Monsabik call in about CPS questions. I know that the African children are being abused a lot there. It's sad. I think child abuse is everywhere. We need an agency, but we need an honest agency. We need an honest that's fair and that treats parents with respect. Everybody should always be treated with respect, no matter what you do. If more respect is given, I just think right now we're terrible about how we treat one another. We really are. You look at the politics and how mean people are, and that comes from everybody. It's really heavy right now, and we're at a really high point in society where I don't understand the civil unrest. I've been through it many, many times in the Vietnam War and over the eons of time with all the different cases, but I've never seen this kind of unrest. And I don't know if it's help from the freedom fighters that are given money, which I believe they are, because there's so much corruptness in the Middle East. That case the other night with the Armenian girl showed me how bad that child trafficking is. There's an Iraqi man that caught this girl's attention, young girl's attention from Armenia, seduced her, married her, had a child, and then her child now is turning 18. She called me and she says her child is being turned into prostitution and traffic. And the guy is in New Jersey. This bad Iranian guy is in New Jersey doing this to other women and so forth. There's infiltrators in the United States that are infiltrating for no good against people in the United States. I don't know if you guys need to wake up, but they're all over the place. And when I saw the people, it looked so scary last night because it looked like it was in Hamas, the terrorists that were they're on the campus, the way they talked and the uniform. There's so much hatred. I wish the hatred would stop. I wish the child trafficking would go away. It's ridiculous that a girl has to call in here. Hopefully she's getting help. The Armenian girl from Amnesty International and from Safe Passage in California. But I do talk about CPS, but I talk about things that will help you with your CPS. I talk about parenting skills. I talk about, how to be safe and I talk about good things that should happen. I think there should be a lot more education in life skills and in sex education in high school. I imagine there used to be times where kids had to carry a pillow in their stomach to feel what it is carrying a child around. So I'm just, I don't know if it's true or not, if the education has got away from it, but there's something that should be taught, these life skills and the sex educational classes and so forth. Because when you end up having a relationship, you're not given a manual of how to do a relationship. And when you have a child or you're married and you have a child, then you're not given another manual there either. So it's very, very important that you develop these life skills. I wish there was something about a book for dummies called How to Deal with CPS. Maybe that's what I should do, is write a book for dummies in CPS. That sounds like a business venture. Book for dummies. CPS, how to deal with CPS. Imagine a lot of people might buy the book. Okay, I forgot our time. And I did not realize that we went over the time this time. I guess I got to enjoy talking today. I want to thank you, Frederick Connie, for listening and your comments. I want to thank Gil that called in from Texas. He was great. I want to thank all the thumbs up. God bless you all, and I'll see you again tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Keep fighting. Bob Pace signing.